Hello, book friends. This is Christy from Vintage Books. Welcome to the book report. It's late and my brain is going, but I wanted to double check, or I wanted to be sure to check in tonight. If you missed Vintage Books Live, which we recorded we finished recording about half an hour ago. You can catch that replay on our YouTube channel. We talked to Karen DeWitz tonight. She is a kids nonfiction writer and nature photographer, and we had a really fun conversation. So if that sounds fun to you, be sure to go and check that out. If you're not into that, but maybe you like cozy mysteries or you like romance or whatever, chances are we've talked to an author in those persuasions at some point along the way on our Vintage Books Live, and they're all archived in the YouTube channel, which is linked in our link tree in Instagram. So if you want to hang out with authors and just want to see what we've been up to or what they've been up to or learn more about authors and books, be sure to check out the YouTube page. I wanted to just start off by asking, how's everybody's reading going this year? Whether or not you're doing a challenge like the one we created at the beginning of the year, or you're doing a challenge that some other bookstore created or some online creator created, or you're just reading and you're not worrying about whether or not it meets a category or anything like that. It would be super fun to hear about how your reading is going this year. Have you read anything that you just absolutely love that you think everybody should read? Be sure to let us know. We love to share with other readers books that our audience really enjoys. Tonight, I wanted to talk a little bit about picture books. That's one of the categories in our 2024 reading challenge. And something that's near and dear to my heart, I've done a few nonfiction picture books for kids. They're actually very hard to write. And I love picture books because of their ability to be a tiny little capsule of a story or information that's presented to kids in a way that's unique and different, that marries words and pictures together, that relies on those two things equally. They've got to both be doing the work for a picture book to really be good. We don't see picture books today much anymore where you just have a static picture on one side and words on the other. That's pretty much a thing of the past. Nowadays, the words and the pictures really have to support each other, and the pictures tell part of the story and the words tell part of the story. And if you have one without the other, they just wouldn't work. And the words need to convey just the right feeling, just the right story, just the right amount of words. They have to be easy to understand in context, but not too easy, and they can't be too dumbed down. They've got to be interesting, and the payoff also has to be really good. Like, you need to get to the end of the picture book and feel like you had a satisfying ending, the same as you get to the end of a novel and feel like you have had a satisfying ending. So I think it's really interesting the way picture books do that, the way picture book creators, authors, and illustrators create that experience in this tiny little, usually about 32-page book. And so I grabbed a couple off of my shelf to share that I really like. A couple of them are older, and we could probably order them, but they're not in the store right now. Another one is really pretty new. It came out in the last few years. One that I really love from a while back is called Ubiquitous. This is Joyce Sidman. Joyce Sidman is just one of the most fantastic kids poets to come out in the last 20, 25, 30 years. She's just amazing. And in this particular case, the illustrator is Becky Prang, and I'm probably mispronouncing that, so I apologize. I did study up on how to get the image to flip correctly, and I will keep working on that, but I couldn't figure it out just yet. But this is a nonfiction book which is Joyce Sidman always has a poem and then accompanying information. And this particular one talks about how life is ubiquitous and found everywhere on Earth, even in the most inhospitable places. But you can just kind of see, even though these are more blocks of text rather than a story per se, the pictures are really such an integral part of what she's doing there. So definitely in this book or any of Joyce Sidman's work are just amazing nonfiction pieces. Another book that I grabbed from my shelf is called Wishes. This happens to be the ARC copy that came out in summer of 2021. It is a refugee story, and it's so hard to show on the little tiny screen, but let me see if I can find a page that I can share with you. But it's basically telling the story of people fleeing their homes, and the pictures, it just conveys so much in how the experience of it and the emotion of it. But I also just find the way the author constructed the words, each item wishes that it could be more helpful to help this family get to safety. And the way it uses color to express the emotions as you're going along through the story is really extraordinary. And I won't show you the end because I think that the payoff is so neat, but this is just an extraordinary combination of words and pictures. It's Wishes, and I'm going to take a stab at the name, but I know I'm probably going to give it correct. It's Nguyen Thi Van. But I will also show you so you can write it down. I realize it's going to be backwards, but you can probably grab that off there, screenshot it or whatever, so you can go find it. Another book, the final one that I'll share tonight, is this gorgeous book, A Walk in the Woods. It was originally conceived as a collaboration between Nikki Grimes and Jerry Pinkney. They worked on the words and plans for the pictures together, and then Jerry sadly passed away, so his son Brian picked up the book and agreed to finish it with Nikki Grimes, and had struggled to figure out how to finish the images that his dad had worked on, and just came up with this absolutely gorgeous solution of taking the line drawings that his dad had worked on, and instead of just doing his own new drawings, he added this gorgeous swirls of color to his dad's original sketches. And it just came out so amazing. But it's also just a super poignant book because the book is about a boy who's lost his father, and his father sends him on a walk in the woods to see the places that they had visited together. So there's such beauty and poignancy in knowing that the collaboration was a father and son, and that it was finished after the father had passed away, given that the topic of the book is also that. So this is A Walk in the Woods, Nikki Grimes, Jerry Pinkney, and Brian Pinkney, and I would highly, highly recommend this book as both just because it's beautiful and poignant, but also it's just such a good example of the power of a picture book and the artistry of a picture book. So be sure to check that one out. But just any picture book, I think is, well, coming back to them as an adult is an interesting study in storytelling. You bring different questions, different ideas, different expectations, different life experiences to a picture book as an adult than you would as a kid. And I just think it's a fun thing to go back to some of your favorites or find some new ones that maybe you haven't read before. Spend a little time in a bookstore or the library checking out picture books, especially ones that have been done maybe in the last 10 years or so that weren't around when you were a kid and that are there now, just to see how the artistry has changed, how some of the philosophy of how they're done has changed, and just to enjoy them because they're just really beautiful, beautiful books. The other thing I wanted to let you know, this is not picture book at all. We're jumping way far to a different direction, but Alison Cochran's brand new book released today. It's called Here We Go Again. It's a road trip queer rom-com, and we're so excited that this to be kind of one of the hosts for Alison's book, for signed copies of her book, which we have available in the store. And just to have her on our community is really special, to see how from her first through her third book, she's grown as an author and how she's gotten the attention that we feel like she deserves for the wonderful works that she's done. So if rom-coms are your thing, then definitely check this one out. If you've never read a rom-com and you want to see what the fuss is about, definitely check out one of her books. It's just fun to see somebody that you admire, who's local, do really well. And also these books are just fantastic. So I'm super excited to read this one. I haven't gotten a chance to do that yet, but I love her first two books, which we also have signed in the store too, if you want to read one of those as well. Also, I want to let you know that on Saturday we have two cozy mystery authors, Emmeline Duncan and Angela M. Sanders. They're going to be in store, in person, no virtual nonsense. We're going to have two authors in store Saturday at 3:00. We're going to be chatting for a little bit. They're going to be doing reading, and then they'll be signing books. So if you're a cozy mystery fan, please plan to join us for that. We have their latest books in store. Angela's came out, I believe, in February, and Emmeline's just came out about a week ago. But we also have the entire series, so if you haven't read their work, you could start at the beginning. But we'll be having a fun time hanging out with them. And then next week, we will be visiting with Alison on our Vintage Books Live on Tuesday nights at 7 on our YouTube channel, which again you can access through our link tree. So join us for a conversation with Alison online at 7:00 next Tuesday night. And remember to share some of your favorite books that you've read this year, whether it's picture books that you love, picture books from when you were a kid that you love, that you want to reminisce about, which would be very fun, but also just any book that you've read this year that you really, really appreciated, really liked, want to recommend to other people. Be sure to share with us in the comments, and we will share that with the rest of the community. In the meantime, have a wonderful night, everybody, and a good rest of your week. Good night.